Welcome to episode 10, Honda Element build in the truck. We are going to work on the tray, and we're going to work on fixing the back bumper because the bolts broke when I tried to take it off. So I need to fix that so I can drive it. And we're going to do a freaking first drive. Episode 10, first drive. It's been like 3.5, 4 months straight of working on this thing non-stop. And I'm exhausted. It is a lot of work. For every like 20-minute video, it's like 4 or 5 hours of actual videos that I'm editing, and every 4 or 5 hours of videos, it's probably like 40 to 50 hours of work. So stay tuned with me. I love you, you fucking sluts. Let's just take a moment so we can appreciate all of this metal work. Wow, what a grind. Literally, probably 5 hours of grinding and cleaning up all around these pieces. Just working on prepping the bed area. A lot of this old sound deadener that was sprayed on the wheel arches here was a real pain, and it just didn't want to come off. Tried wire wheel, sanding it, just gumming up everything. In the end, I basically chipped most of it off with a chisel, wire wheeled, sanded. It took a really long time, and it was a pretty big pain in the ass. So I'm making a frame for the bottom of my tray, and basically what that's going to be is just holding up a diamond plate or 1/8-inch plate. I'm not sure what I'm going to use yet, but if I make this tray, it makes it so I don't have to try to seal the floor, because the floor has so many grooves and indentations and holes that it's just going to be really hard to seal. And I want my spare tire area to remain dry. I would like to have dry storage in my truck bed, which is going to be a challenge in itself. So there was a lot of cutting, a lot of measuring. All of this pipe I had got from a scrap yard, and basically I had to cut it all, sand all of the old paint off of it. It was a lot of prep just to make a little tray. If the metal was clean, it probably would have been a lot easier. But the nature of this project is to try to do this on the cheap. So I guess I'm sacrificing money for time in this instance, not just buying clean, fresh metal that I don't have to prep up. Funny, when I first started this, it was just going to be kind of a let's see if I can slap this thing together, and as time goes on, I'm just becoming more and more meticulous, really squaring everything and making things down to a 32nd of an inch, if not absolutely perfect. I'm really liking how I'm advancing and shifting in my ability to really care about the quality of my work. It's really a good project to help me grow on a physical, spiritual level, to a very deep understanding of myself and what I can do, and really just showing how much I care about what I'm doing and the passion and the energy that I'm putting into it. Here I'm cutting out all of the little winged pieces that are going to go into all of the not square sections of the bed. It was a lot of tedious work, a lot of 3-inch pieces, 6-inch pieces. I might still add more to the structure. It was just something that I just kind of needed to get in there for now. And if I add more, it's going to be depending on what I use for the bottom of the actual bed lining. So I have this little gap at the edge of my bed rail that I want to fill in. So I'm going to make a little fill-in piece that will just kind of close this little gap and just make it a little bit prettier, and also add a little bit of extra structure to that bed rail cap. bed rail caps, they started flash rusting on me because they're fairly new metal, and I think I kind of sanded off or ground off the thin galvanized coating that was on them. So I really have to sand them down quite well so I can prep them for paint, because I just can't have them flash rusting on me. So sanded them down, did all the prep work, gave them a quick coat of a primer, a flat black primer that will stop them from rusting until I can give them a more finished painting. Now working on kind of lowering a bunch of those high spots and those bulges that were created from welding way too hot. Some of my problems here was the metal that I added in was thicker than the original sheet metal, so it took a little bit more heat to weld it into that thinner metal, and this is the side I did first, and I created a lot of problems with my metal. So this driver's side took a lot more beating and manipulation to get to an acceptable level where I was comfortable bondoing over it. Alright, so I wasn't going to show this, but it's kind of trick how it worked out. My back bumper bolts broke out. They just the studs completely got screwed. So I had to drill them out, and then I had to like grind them out with little grinding bits like around the inside to make sure that like there wasn't any head of the bolt left in there. And let me grab a rag. And then I made these plates with the design on it, with studs welded on, or nuts welded on the other side. And I'm just going to pop it in there, grab it, hold it on there with a couple bolts, and then I will weld it through the center parts and around the thing if I'm brave enough. Maybe I'll get some sacrificial bolts to weld around. So now I'm going to basically measure off the bolts, get these lined up the same off of this bracket on both sides, and then tack this plate on. It doesn't look like I have much around that hole. I don't know if I'll bother or if I'll just make more of a mess. I'll probably just tack it on here, and then if I ever need to replace them, I can just drill these out, pop it out. You know, if I want to put some heavy duty bolts on, which I will put something bigger on, but I'll make a bracket off of the tow hitch or something eventually. Yeah, that one's in. That one's in. Just gonna measure them up, weld them. Good to. So if you look closely at the back of those, you can see there's a new piece welded on there. That is just a drip rain edge that I put on there to basically deflect the water down past that side so it doesn't go through that gap, and so I don't have to seal the actual cap onto the actual bed, because I want to be able to remove the cap and I don't want it to be kind of glued in place. So I kind of made provisions all around both sides of the bed rails so I wouldn't have to have that cap glued in place or sealed in place, but basically all the water would shed off naturally whether the cap was on or not. This thing drove really well, but it was making some weird noises. The brakes were grabbing on the front, something that didn't happen when I originally brought it home. It has been sitting for about 4 months. I thought it was initially just some surface rust that had built up, but actually there was some bend in the bracket for the caliper that I had to hit a few times. It was kind of pulling the caliper bracket into the rotor just by I just had to persuade it about a millimeter so it wasn't making that noise. I might have to get a new knuckle for the front just so that doesn't happen anymore. Save myself from destroying a few rotors. Thanks for coming along for the ride. I'm going to leave it there. That is the end of episode 10. Be nice to people. Be loving. Be kind. Be slutty. Just don't harm anybody. I love you. Peace. Namaste.